This episode is sponsored by Dove's Hair Care Crown Collection. Hey, 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 we're back. We're black. We are brown. Ambition, 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 ambition. Real quick. I'm super excited because this episode is sponsored by Dove's Hair Care Crown Collection. Because we fancy around these parts. Hey, Mantra, how are you, girl?
I am ironically having a bad hair day, but I am so excited.
Really? Because your hair was popping.
I know, but I was upstairs. Well, you know how you're like, I don't know if you know, but I was like standing in the mirror with the scissors. Like, do I trim the bangs or do I just walk away? I chose nonviolence today, so I did not trim. But yeah, so excited to have this show sponsored by not just Dove, but Dove's Hair Care Crown Collection, which is all about the curly, the coily, the kinky, the wave.
Yes.
And we're going to definitely get into, I don't know, like an in-depth, like sister girl conversation about our hair, because you can't separate, I feel like, Black women and their hair and their careers, money, business, personal life. It's just, it infuses everything. So we're going to get a little candid with y'all. But I haven't seen you in a while. We had like the best, beautiful Brown Ambition. We'll call it a summit, a self-care summit.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago. And then my life fell apart like the day after. But I feel like you saw me on a high and then the next day just, everything kind of went downhill. But that was so nice. I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Yes. I just what happened was like Mandy and I were like, I told you this is my year of connectedness. Well, just in general, my life of connectedness. But this year I'm really leaning into it. And I was like, I'm going to come to Worcester. Mandy was like, it's actually Westchester.
Stop calling it Worcester. Are you doing it on purpose at this point?
No. That time I did, but just saying, and Mandy corrected me. I was saying, it said like, it's Westchester. I'm like, I'm coming to Westchester. So I said, okay, I'm coming.
Because you've never been here.
Yes.
You always
Isn't that crazy? She had a whole baby who I'd never met. I know. And like a whole house. I mean, it's just a lot has happened. Not, I haven't seen Mandy since then, but I have not come to where she is. And I was like, you know what? And then she texted me, was like, let's make it. I was like, how about Saturday? She was like, how about Friday? And I was just going to come to the house. And Mandy was like, let's actually go to a spa. I was like, girl, say less. So I met her up at her beautiful home. It's so crazy because Mandy's home and my home, the decor could be cousins. Right? Yeah. Because it's like similar colors back. I was like, ooh, I can live here. It's so cute. Her house is beautiful. And so literally like similar wall colors, similar tile color. It's just super comfy, super cozy. And so we met up and then we went to, I guess it used to be a Ritz-Carlton, or it is still like they've kind of like reframed, right? Like
it's the Schmancy Hotel downtown is what it is, and they have a little spa. And I got a little hookup because my cousin does work there, so we got a cute little discount. We can be transparent about that. But I started to go there because I sneak in and I can use the pool because this has been a tough pregnancy and I haven't been able to walk as much as I used to. So anyway, and then I was like, oh, you do massages too, and it's really nice. So that's my like little home away from home now. Yes. And it felt really special because I'm like, come, let's treat ourselves.
So we got massage. First of all, Linda, I don't remember people's names, but I remember Linda. I said, Linda, girl, we go together. What size ring you wear, Linda? Melinda massaged me down, honey. I was like, wait a minute now. It was so good. Mandy and I got a pool together. Pool. I know. No, it was like warmish, but that was just so nice to just like wade through the pool. Me and Mandy just talking. It was just awesome. And then we went to pick the baby up, the big baby.
So far. Well, we had our fancy lunch, ladies' lunch.
Yeah, so that's right. A very delicious
lunch. We had lunch at a nice, like, beautiful Mediterranean place in the middle of the day on a Friday. Yes. I just feel, it feels better to me when I do those types of things during the work week because I'm like, this is because you can when you have your own, you can manage your own schedule. But I love going to an empty restaurant in between, like when there's not that many people there.
Yes.
It was lovely. And then you finally got to meet my baby.
I know. We went to pick him up from daycare. Is it daycare or school now? Is it season? Or is it
he calls it cool. I don't want to go to
cool. Well, we went to
daycare.
Cool to pick him up. At first I could tell he was like, who this lady? It took him a little while to warm up. But let me tell you something about me and my bestie. That's my Rio, just so you know.
When you say a little while, you mean like 30 seconds, right? Because he instantly
we got to the house.
You.
And I could tell he was like, okay, this lady's in my house. Her name is Tiffy, obviously. And then just out of the blue, he was like, oh, I've decided I like her. He climbed over the couch and just wrapped his arms around my neck, was like, I live with her now. Bye, mommy.
I've never seen him do that with someone he just met. Honestly, I think that kids feed off of our energy, and he's like, Mama clearly loves this lady, so I love her. Like, we are related now.
It was so awesome.
That was so cute. And instantly, I was like, I tricked, you know how it is, moms. I tricked Tiffany into babysitting. I was like, so he's cool. You guys are snuggling. I'm going to go get husband, and I'll be right back. And I came back, and y'all were in the exact same snuggling position.
Yes,
when I left.
We were.
You can't ever tell my mother-in-law that because she would be so jealous. You can't even do that for her.
But it was the best though. He was just like, so we're friends now, actually best friends, and Molly's a friend too. Molly was like, girl, what about me?
Oh my God. Yeah. You saw listen, Molly surprises everyone with her girth. Is that the right word?
Well, she's cute and thick.
Her
with
presence,
2 C's.
she's thick. She photographs her face is like little, but it hides the body. The body, yaddy, yaddy, yaddy.
Legs and hips and body. Yo, Molly is giving body, but beautiful body. Okay, because we love all bodies here. But yeah,
she's a natural girlie.
Yeah, she's adorbs.
It was so special though. Really, I was like, so because it's different when it really meant something to me that you got to see like how I live. I'm not that but just like where I live and my home and stuff. It made sense, and I was like, of course you should be here, and I wish you lived next door.
My favorite part was like, and this was like, I was telling to Dr. Green, because I had like therapy on Saturday. And I was like, oh, I went to visit Mandy. It was so great. I said, one of my favorite parts is that I pulled up and you were like, you asked me something to the effect of like, what time do you have to leave? Or like, do you have a time frame? And I said, this is the only thing I plan today. And it felt so good to say it, and your face lit up like, and I'm like, that's how I want life to go. But that's how I want life to go, right? That like,
yes,
you connect with friends in a way that's like, no, you are important to me. And as a result, like, this is it. Like, I didn't have anything else. It was just this. So I was going to stay as long or short as Mandy would have me. And so it was an awesome time.
Girl, you could have spent the night. I probably would end up leaving and be like, I'm going to go to the store so you can babysit. I'm going to go walk around Target for 2 hours. You're good. You're like, I got enough sisters who do that to me.
No, I don't mind. I love it. Oh,
lovely. Well, we got to make that. I don't want to put pressure on it, but we got to make it. Wait, I know for sure I'm going to see you this summer, because where are we going?
We are going to see Beyonce. Mandy blessed me with Beyonce tickets. I mean, I got to pay for that, but the fact that I even have access to Beyonce tickets.
Yes.
Mandy texted me, was like, awesome cash. Hey, girl, got some tickets. They're awesome. Want to go? I'm like, is this crack she's smoking? Yes.
Well, it's in Jersey. I had been trying to get tickets to her show in Atlanta, but I didn't get any codes. I signed up for the Beehive, the city thing, but my bestie Baron, who you met at my wedding, he got a code. And it was so funny because he wasn't expecting it. He got it at work. He happened to have forgotten the city credit card. So he called me. He's like, Mandy, I got the code. Go get your city card. I'm going to put it on your card. And like, we were fighting over what seats to get because Baron was being a little cheap. And I said, Baron, we agreed. The budget is $1,500. I want to drop a washer dryer on this show because I went to the formation tour, and I tried to get good seats, but I got the nosebleeds, and I was like, I owe this to myself. Plus, I ain't been nowhere in 3 years. I haven't even seen a show like the theater. Like, it's been so long. So I deserve, okay?
Yes.
And so Baron got 4 tickets, and he said, okay, so you can bring a date and I can bring a date. And I was like, who the hell am I going to get and pay this much money for Beyonce tickets?
You know me. I was like,
Yeah.
I love it because both of us are typically very, very, very frugal. Like, we're known. We're like legendary. Like, me and Mandy are legendarily frugal. But when she was like, it's $1,400, I said, done. Yeah. But that's what I love. If we're going to bring it back to like Brown Ambition and personal finance, that's what I love about this journey is because, I don't spend money on things that really don't enhance my life. So when it comes to something like this, I have it readily available. And I'm like, right now I'm wearing my Target sweatshirt and sweatpants. And I'm like, okay, Aunt. Yeah, look at us. RJ. But then when it was like $1,400 bay tickets, I was like, girl, say less.
Yeah. Pair of shoes. Some people drop that on a pair of shoes. Like, no. But I just know this is going to be so fun. Yes. Baron's got to pick out who's bringing. And I was like, the vibe has to be right. I need approvals. I had to get you pre-approved by Baron because
hey, Baron.
like Beehive, Renaissance vibes only. Like we need, it has to be lit. Like, but I'm so excited, and that's something to look forward to this summer too.
Thank you so much.
So I'll be two months postpartum. Should I bring the baby and like ask her to? Maybe we'll be close enough that like some of her sweat and baptize him. Or I'll just like lift the baby up like Beyonce.
Like we'll lift you up.
Bless him.
We gotta figure out how we're gonna do our hair. Speaking of hair.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, my hair is yeah. Should we segue into the hair convo? Because
should we take a break real quick first?
Oh yeah, let's do that. That's what professionals would do. Let's take a break and be right back with more Brown Ambition. Again, sponsored by Dove's Crown Hair Care Collection. So excited. We're going to come back and have a juicy combo about our locks, our luscious locks.
Hey ladies, have you heard about the Crown Act? My Hair, My Crown is a new Dove self-esteem project tool for educators, parents, and mentors to boost hair confidence in kids with coils, curls, waves, and protective styles while building allyship in young people. Child, that's me. I got all the kinks and curls, and I love it. The way Black women decide to wear their hair is their choice. Me and Mandy certainly made it our choice. Discrimination resulting from how we all choose to wear our beautiful locks is over. Dove co-founded the Crown Coalition in 2019 to advocate for the passing of the Crown Act. Race-based hair discrimination occurs at work and in schools with little girls too. Dove hopes to end that prejudice by supporting the Crown Act. After all, it's not just about braids and natural hair. Professionalism needs to be defined without biases. Mandy and I want to encourage our listeners to wear their hair their way, loud and proud. You guys know I'm loud and I'm proud. If you are wearing your hair loud and proud, you will love Dove's Crown Collection. It is the first holistic hair and scalp system designed for your coils, curls, and waves. The superior ingredients include plant-based squalene, prebiotics, and vitamins. Purchase the Dove Crown Hair Collection for kids and adults wherever personal care and beauty products are sold. And we're back and fabulous. So yeah, speaking of hair, because I'm just like, oh, I'm going to wear my hair. I was just thinking that, but it's crazy because I'm like, I feel like as a Black woman, that's what we're always thinking. Like, how are we going to wear our hair?
Yeah. How's the hair going to wear us today?
Yes,
basically?
Exactly. Because sometimes the hair just be deciding for us. Yes. What about you, Mandy? I'm curious because our hair is so, it's similar but different. Like lots of curls, but like, mine are extra tightly curled. Like the girls would say I have 4C. Do you know what your what your curl pattern? What would they say?
I have all of them. It is like a hodge. I have so many different curl patterns. My hair is so confused. And it took me a long time because let's talk about like from early childhood to now, like what the journey has been. Because part of me feeling as comfortable as I do now in my skin and my career and myself has coincided with me finally embracing and letting my hair do its thing. But yeah, the curl patterns, like I have tried to diagnose and there's a million different, curl patterns in there. And it really, obviously I'm multiracial. My mom is white. She's super duper white, European and Irish. I got the 23andMe. I know exactly my percentages. And then my dad is blackity black.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So I am like a lot of like, I think like a lot of mixed kids, especially mixed kids raised by a mom who doesn't have textured hair. God, my earliest hair memories, I didn't even know what my texture was because I got my first relaxer at maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Really?
I do see there are some pictures in my archive of me with like really cute. My mom would like put it in like these poofy ponytails and stuff, cute curly hair. But then it just stopped. And then I had these like long, straight, pin straight. And I asked her, I was like, who suggested that? And she said, I thought it was my aunts, like on my dad's side, but apparently she was walking through the mall and women would like comment on my hair. Black women would comment on my hair and be like, you need to take that baby and get her perm and, a relaxer. And so, yeah, it started out with that. I don't remember my first relaxer experience, but when I tell you, I remember the ones after that, like from burning my scalp and my mom doing the Just For Me kits at home. Was there ever a time when you were getting, like, what was your hair growing up when you were like young? And you had all these sisters too. Plus you're in a household that understands hair.
Yeah. Well, yes, because so my hair is like really, really, really like the tightly curls that you can get, like, Afro texture hair. Like if I didn't have like locks now, my hair would, be like Michael Jackson Afro, like, it grows out, not down. And so I've been natural like almost my whole life. I want to say I had a perm maybe 2 years out of my life. So literally I'm 43. So for 41 years, I have worn my hair naturally, just different natural styles, like braids and things. But when I was really little, like my mom, like she wasn't like this super braider. Some of my earliest memories are like of like other Black women braiding my hair. Like I remember there's this little girl. Well, now I call her a little girl, but she probably was a teenager that would come and like braid my mom we would visit one of my cousins, like, I think they lived in Irvington or whatever. And she must've been like 14. And we kind of would just line up and get our hair braided by this young girl. When we were little. I remember I did used to, especially for Easter Sunday and things, we would get our hair pressed. That's one some of my earliest memories, which is the worst because the grease, like that grease, you know, like, and you like hold your ear down and sometimes it's too much grease. So it would literally burn your scalp. And then I don't know why, but maybe I just was really stubborn about getting my hair done. But around like 4th or 5th grade, my mom gave me a Jerry curl. Jesus be offense. It wasn't even in then. Like I look back and I'm like, why would you give me a Jerry curl? No, none of my sisters had it, just Tiffany. I was like, did you have
how vendetta? Do you create a Jerry curl? How do you create that? Is it product or is it like a semi-relaxer?
It's basically like a curly, it's a relaxer basically that you put like, that instead of like straight, you put like rods in it. So it'll be curly, but you have to keep it moist. So you're literally walking around with a wet head 24 hours.
Oh my God. We got to see pictures.
Girl. Yes, you do. I have a picture of me in 6th grade wearing like this Easter Sunday outfit and my first foray into public school. I did not know they did not dress up for public school. But I learned that day. And so I have a purple headband and this purple Easter Sunday outfit and my Jerry curl on full display. So I just remember, I don't know, like I was such a tomboy, but I hated the notion of like getting my hair done. You know, it just seemed like the world was telling me something's wrong with your hair. You have to do something with it. And I just remember being like, I wish it was like, I remember distinctly being like in like 2nd grade that I loved the Brady Bunch. And I always saw myself as Jan because she was the second girl and I was the second girl. So I would put on turtleneck. Like, so imagine a turtleneck, the neck part goes here, but I would put it like almost like a headband, the neck part on my head and then let the rest fall. And that we would walk around the house and be like, that's our hair. Like I must have been like in 1st and 2nd grade and literally I just would have it swinging and say, I wish my hair swung like this because something must be wrong with mine because it doesn't do this. And so my first memories of my hair were that it was like a nuisance and that something was wrong with it because it didn't look like Jan Brady.
Yeah. And I can so relate to that. I mean, my mom sitting there I remember crying thinking, is my mom going to live with me for the rest of my life? Am I ever going to be able to detangle my own hair? Because like the pain of getting, you know, her washing my hair in the sink and then doing the relaxer and the, you know, her fighting with the pink, like should we do the pink grease? What's it called? The pink, what's the pink bottle?
A moisturizer. Mm-hmm.
Literally like the pink bottle and like the blue, there was like some kind of blue gel. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, Blue Magic. Oh,
Blue Magic. And then I like rebelled in my teenage years, just wanted to like at least be able to do my own hair. But then of course I couldn't. So there are some tragic yearbook photos of me. And for me, like I think we both went to like, I don't know, majority white schools.
I did.
Right. I went to like several different high schools. Some were more like less diverse than others, but certainly like really white middle school. And then later in my senior year, really like non-diverse. And I would get picked on so bad, especially by other Black girls, for my hair. Like and we were like struggling financially. Relaxers cost money. Yes. We all know that, right? Like $50 to get you know, and if you weren't able to keep touch-ups, it'd be more expensive. They want like $80. But yeah, I would get picked on and I never loved my hair. I always felt like, it was something to hold me back. I couldn't get it wet. Everyone had pool parties and I'd be worried about getting it wet. And my mom, my mom loved me, but I could tell she didn't love my hair and that had an impact. We've talked about it since. But it really, and I feel like more women go through that too. Like to feel that your mom or the women in your life or whoever you're with, like look at your hair as a burden. It does not make you love anything. You know, it doesn't make you feel good about it.
I will say I was at least fortunate to grow up in a house where like everybody's hair was like my hair. So I didn't feel, although I went to Westfield High School and it was largely white, like 99.99 cents. You know, in the house, there were 4 other little girls who had hair like mine. And my mom, although she had like a perm and she used to wear wigs. Sorry, Mom, I know. It's like, don't be about these wigs. But like still.
Wigs are like everything.
But now, you know, but like under it all, like her hair was like mine. So I didn't feel weird. One thing I will remember is that like you know, after the Jheri curl group, I was like, And I just started to get braids because braids started to be really popular. So we would get braids and I played sports. And so that was like, because I played like sports, like I used to run track, I played tennis. It was just easier, especially when Brandy came out. When I was around 15, Brandy and I are the same age. So she came out when she was about 14, 15. And I was like, oh my gosh, she really popularized natural hair via braids. And so all of us had braids. I remember micro braids, which took forever to do and put in, but it gave me this sense of like, okay, I don't have to do my hair daily, but they can still look really nice. And I really, like, I love that period of like, of braids other than like, you know, cause it was very low maintenance other than the taking it out and putting it in. And then for some reason, it was like, because I wasn't going to play sports in college. And so I decided I think I wanted to be like grown and sophisticated. That's what I thought it would look like. I got a perm freshman year, right before college, my freshman year in college. And, you know, like my hair was like, girl, what are you doing? At one point I was like, I'm going to be one of those monks that only has like a little piece of ponytail in the middle because it was eating up all of my sides, the back. Yeah. I went to this, there was this West Indian woman, she was Jamaican, Lois, I'll never forget. And I used to go to her to get my perm. And I was like, and she was the one that told me, she's like, honestly, Tiffany, your texture hair is so opposed to the straight texture of the perm you're trying to achieve that you would either have to get perms so frequently that it's dangerous, or, you know, like when your hair grows in, which is like this tight curl and the perm is this really straight, where they're meeting, it's breaking no matter what we're doing. So she was like, girl, honestly, and this is before the natural movement. And I remember thinking, what am I going to do? I took scissors. I wasn't thinking. And I just cut off all of it was just breakage everywhere. I would comb it and hair would just be on my shoulders. Hair was always everywhere. And it was devastating. Like I felt like I was going bald. And I was just like, so I just cut it. And I started this kind of like teeny weeny afro that everybody was horrified by. I mean, Black women would stop me in the street and say, why would I do this to myself? Because it's not like now, nobody was natural, you know, like maybe with braids or whatever, but like a fro. And so I rocked a fro for years. I rocked a fro, like I want to say the last maybe like year in college and then beyond. That's how I met Jarrell. He used to love my little fro. He's like, I ain't never seen nobody with a fro. You look cute. And so I loved my fro, although the fro, because every hairstyle requires different products. So with braids, sometimes it's itchy. So you have like these itchy hairspray things. And then you want to like, you know, you keep like they would have you grease your scalp, you know, like the parts, right? And then with a fro, like for my hair, it's so thirsty. So I was putting so much product in it just for it to not be super dry, because with Afro texture hair, you cannot typically comb it just dry out there. Like you will just be,
oh no.
Yes, it's painful and you're going to see hair all over the place. So it has to be in a state of moisturization. Like you have to have just at least washed it. Maybe it has conditioner in it. But I used a lot of product when I had a fro, and it was a lot of work. People think that natural hair is not a lot of work, that compared to like perm.
Who people?
So much work. And so, but I love that fro. I used to get twist outs with it. I learned all these different things to do. I would get like twist outs. I would get braid outs. I would get all these fun things. And then I want to say maybe like 4 or 5 years into having a fro, I really contemplated getting locks, you know? And I was just like, I think, I want the freedom of like the braids without the take down and put in of the braids.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I did a lot of research on like what kind of locks to get. And one of the things I always hated about a perm is the dryer time. Oh my gosh. The dryer time. If you get a perm, I
always wondered, like, why can't you just use a blow dryer?
I mean,
why must I go through this torture?
You would be under that dryer for hours. And I said, I didn't want to get regular locks, because regular locks are like, you twist them, like you use whatever pomade or whatever gel or whatever, and you twist them and you sit under the dryer for hours. I said, not me. And something called sister locks was just starting to gain popularity. And it's basically this ancient interlocking system that was born in Africa where you don't twist them. It's almost like backward braiding. You take the end of the lock and then you loop it through like the gap in your root and you pull it through. And so when doing that a number of times, it actually begins to braid the root. And so you never have to sit under the dryer. And they were really expensive back then. I don't know like if they're super expensive now, but to start them, you anywhere from like $200-$300 to like $500-$600 to start them. And so I started my sister lock journey, I want to say in my mid-20s, maybe I was 25, 26, something like that. And I've had them ever since. Like now, if you were to see me now, my would you say mid-back? My hair's kind of mid-back. But it was longer before, and I cut them to my chin, and now they're back again. So I've had them like, 20 years now? Maybe not 20, maybe like 15-ish. But either way, I love them. Like, I considered cutting them all off one day, like the other day, but not the other day, but I just.
The other day.
Yeah. But meaning like maybe like a few years ago.
Me with the scissors.
Just because I was like, oh, maybe I'll do something different. But honestly, I love them because I'm kind of a tomboy. So I'm not someone who is going to do my hair a ton. So it's like, it's done. And what I love about them is locks, especially anything past 10 years, you get what they call mature locks. So in the beginning, your locks are like, just like basically like a braided fro. And then they start to bud, which is when they get like these, like they look like these fat, chunky caterpillars. You ever see people with that? And then the bud, there's an awkward stage, a teenage stage to locks where like the top part is tighter, but then there are buds at the bottom. And people typically don't like that stage. You stay there for a few years. And then they start to fully almost look like a braid all throughout. So I am fully mature locked. It's over 10 years. And as a result of them being so tightly compacted in these when I tell you, Landy, I don't put anything in my hair. I wash my hair like with shampoo. I use like a little bit of like really conditioner, and that's it. Like day to day, I don't put anything because there's no space for them. It will just like kind of sit on top. And this is the easiest and like my favorite style. Yeah, I mean, I likely will ride off into the sunset with this style, but I'm in a space now where I can honestly say that I love my hair. I think it's beautiful and I think it's strong, and it reminds me of my great grandmother that I met one time in Nigeria, which I wish I took a picture because I remember staring at her curl pattern and thinking it looks exactly like mine. And so, I love my hair now.
Oh, I love it too. It's just you. I mean, it really became, it's so versatile and beautiful. It's beautiful. When you mentioned Brandy, I was like, my hair icons when I was little were the sister twins, Tia and Tamara, because I was like, wait, they have curly hair. Until the later years when they got them, they all had relaxers. And then I wanted the relaxer even more when Tia and Tamara got it done, when they straightened their curls. But that was my first inkling that maybe there could be a different life for me, but no one would ever let me get to that point because as soon as it grew out, it was a mess. It was nappy. It was a problem that needed to be taken care of, right? I wonder for you, because this is called like the Dove Crown Collection. It reminds me of the Crown Act actually, and Dove co-sponsored the Crown Act, which is not federal law yet, but it is in several states, which basically says in the workplace, because Black women, like there's so many examples of people who have been, and even it's written into dress codes in like schools and even some workplaces where braids, locks are not considered appropriate for the workplace or for, in a school setting. And it's anyway, so I'm so happy now that there's actual, and it needs to be like written into the law. You cannot discriminate against us for our hair. And I know for me, as my career shifted from writer, Mandy, like I was behind the scenes writing, the minute I got on camera, like when I was at Yahoo Finance in my early 20s, that's when my confidence would just be like knocked every time I sat down in the hair and makeup room because, and it would come from stylists of all different backgrounds, but they didn't really want to touch my hair. It was like, can you, and when I started to transition, which was around that time, I was maybe 25, 26. It was, well, the curls don't look good on camera. Wow. It's fuzzy. It's like can you get them smooth? Could they be the perfect ringlets? You know, like, because I feel like in pop culture, if there were natural curlies, they'd be like, they would be natural, but they'd be all like they would have used a curling iron or a mini curler or something to get the perfect coils. I don't have that. Look at this. There's like a million different textures.
They are the perfect coils.
Some of the girlies want to be European and have my mom's blonde straight hairs. And some of the girlies are like, we are from the western coast of Africa and we are proud of it. Like there's just a million different textures. But I'm so glad I stuck with it because it was a falling in love process for me. It started at my temples. I could see, well, really what it started was I became too broke for New York City relaxer prices. Okay. They were like hundreds of dollars to get, you know, a relaxer from a good salon. And I just was like, I don't want to pay for that. So I would go longer and longer in between. And then I could start to see at my temple, the curls. And I just stopped. I just stopped getting relaxers. And then thank God for YouTube. Because you mentioned like doing the research about locks. I was researching like, and I learned about protective styles, Bantu knots. I could get a natural curl, you know, from learning how to do Bantu knots. And just, so for all the YouTubers out there who do hair content, I'm like, thank you for providing the guidance that those of us who don't have family or loved ones who understand our hair culture or styles, like that was really my education. And I rocked a little baby fro because for me, I transitioned and I would do the same. I would cut like where because eventually it breaks. You have the curly hair and then you have the relaxed parts. And I would just cut more and more. And finally, I ended up trimming it all. I think I had like 3 or 4 inches of curls at that point. And that was it. It just was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be. And there's no looking back ever since. It just feels like part of me. And of course, I think back to those years at Yahoo and I hadn't yet found my own confidence in it. I definitely would have stuck up for myself more and not have been using flat irons. And there's nothing wrong with flat irons and all that, but you know, for a lot longer, but I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's so great now.
Like, it's funny because I've had celebrity stylists like, I don't know. I mean, I always come with my hair done because I'm like, what you're not going to do is play me. You know?
Yeah, same.
But every once in a while, there'll be like when I went to the Jennifer Hudson show, shout out to their stylist there. I want to say he's Latino. And at first he was like, oh, I'm going to do your hair. I was like, it's okay. It's done. And he was like, no. But he did this beautiful braid that was I was really impressed. And he actually had so sometimes the really kinky curly girls, they have to decide if they're going to like lay their edges down with gel. Like if you are watching on YouTube, which you ought to be, you can see that I typically don't lay my edges down with gel. I'm like, girl, this is my edge. Get into it. But sometimes for like TV or whatever, I will give it a little smoother, slicker, you know, more quote unquote professional, just because, you know, that's what the people be asking for. But he actually put me onto like a new gel that I had not. So I was really surprised that not only did he know about like my hair, but also products that worked, because oftentimes, because my hair is so tightly curled that most gels are like, my hair laughs at it like, girl, we've bested better than you. But like,
bring it.
Yeah. So, you know, we put this gel in and it was great, but like now where I am now is that like I come with the assumption that you don't know how to do my hair, and that's fine. I will come with my hair done. We just pray that the makeup artist knows how to do my brown skin at this point.
Hey, VA fam. Have you heard about the Crown Act? My Hair, My Crown is a new Dove self-esteem project tool for educators, parents, and mentors to boost hair confidence in kids with coils, curves, waves, and protective styles, while building allyship in young people. The way we as Black women decide to wear our hair is our choice. Me and Tiffany certainly made our choice, you can see. Discrimination resulting from how we all choose to wear our beautiful locks is over. Dove co-founded the Crown Coalition in 2019 to advocate for the passing of the Crown Act. Race-based hair discrimination occurs at work and in schools with little girls too. Dove hopes to end that prejudice by supporting the Crown Act. After all, it's not just about braids and natural hair. Professionalism needs to be defined without biases. Tiffany and I want to encourage our listeners to wear their hair their way, loud and proud. If you're wearing your hair loud and proud, you will love Dove's Crown Collection. It's the first holistic hair and scalp system designed for your coils, curves, and waves. The superior ingredients include plant-based squalene, prebiotics, and vitamins. Purchase the Dove Crown Hair Collection for kids and adults wherever personal care and beauty products are sold.
Thankfully, if I'm being candid, one of the reasons why I also like sister locks is because traditional locks are typically bigger and thicker. And they're usually, when people say locks are unprofessional, that's what they mean. So if I'm being candid, sister locks was like a safer lock option, you know, meaning that like, it's like, it's more palatable. Yes. Yeah. To like, to the, you know, to in the professional space. Yeah. You know, so I've never felt that my hair was, you know, unprofessional. But because I chose these kind of like with this underlying, like, let me get these skinnier locks so it doesn't feel like, oh, she got locks. She over here Black Power, even though I am Black Power. But even like being on the cover of my book, It Good With Money, you know, like to be like this sister lock girl. You should have seen when they did the cover. So Tanetta Bell, who's an amazing photographer, she did like all of me and Mandy's pictures for Brown Ambition. She's done all my headshots. So Tanetta took the picture. And at first when the cover came back, you know, because that's not the background of the book is green, but I think like the actual background of the picture was like brown or white or whatever. So they had to cut me out, like cut me out so they could put me on this green background. You should have seen how they cut my hair out. It was just like, it looked like, you know, just a smooth circle because I have a bun on my book. So Tanetta came in and was like, no, absolutely not. She made them zoom in and cut around my small little curve. So that's why like the book looks so great, because they kept the texture of what my hair actually looks like. But that's what I mean about taking the extra step, because when the book didn't look as good because the initial care was not taken to ensure that the way my hair is actually shaped shows up, you know? And I'm just so grateful to that sister, hey girl, you know, like stepped in and was like, no, we're not doing that. Like I took this beautiful picture and part of the beauty is Tiffany's kinky, curly, beautiful hair. We're going to honor that on the book cover. And so, professionally, sometimes I do think about it, but you know, I'm at a point now where I'm like, girl, take it or leave it. And you know, but I'm grateful that many times the places that I've been invited, people know something about my hair, or at least I know how to do it enough myself where I just come, like I know how to do enough myself where like I come ready, because you know, you just never know. And I don't want to take the risk.
When was the first time someone tried to touch your hair? Do you remember?
Does it still happen? I remember in high school, like probably middle school, but I distinctly remember in high school that like someone came up behind me. You know what it was? I had gotten braids over the weekend. And one of the girls, non-melanated, was like, oh my God, your hair grew so fast. And I was like, at your grown age of 14, I'm just going to use like just a little common sense. And I was like, I didn't know what to say, because I was embarrassed, because back then it was like, you have fake hair, you know? And I just said,
like it was something to be ashamed of.
Yes.
You know?
And I just said, because no one was wearing extensions then, you know, like as far as like, you know, as far as I knew like all the black girls knew like, oh, you get your braids or whatever. But like now, like everyone, black, white, Asian, everyone gets like hair extensions, but it wasn't as common. And so I remember like people would always wanted to touch my braids, and I didn't have kind of like the language to tell people no. I would just be kind of like the petting zoo animal, like, okay. And so like, I'm all for curiosity, because I too sometimes curious about somebody's hair, but to reach out and touch someone without their consent, whether it's their fuzzy sweater or their hair, is absolutely a no-no. And, you know, you would think that people would have enough common sense to know you don't touch anyone for whatever reason without their consent. Like, you know, you just don't. And so it's crazy now, because I have my niece Amelia. I just saw them yesterday. So I call Roman and Amelia the crazies. So I went to go visit the crazies yesterday. And Amelia had the little Bantu knots, which were like indicative of she must have just got her hair washed yesterday, you know? And I was like, oh, Mimi, you got your hair washed? You could tell she was like, oh, my life.
It's a wash day, auntie.
I know. She could tell that she was just like, so she's all natural. My sister, Carol, those are her kids, they're all natural. And we tried with braids with Amelia. She just can't sit. Like, she's still so little. She's only 5. So like getting like a whole intricate braided style, she's kind of what black folks call tender-headed. And so like Carol does like more like Afro puffs for her. So it's like not as much time sitting down. And so, you know, I'm curious to see like what Amelia's like hair journey will be, because her texture, I was looking at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it looks just like my great grandmother's, looks just like mine, like tightly curled. It's beautiful, you know? And I just was like, so yeah, she's an Afro puff girl for now though.
But now Mimi and all the other little girls, you got a whole aisle almost at the grocery store now of options for yourself. Like Rio, I use Shea Moisture in his hair and like Cantu conditioner. He's got loose curls. But I am like hyper vigilant of how I talk about my hair and his hair, because I want him to love it. And I finally got him now. He says, and he loves playing in my hair. And I remember when I was little, it used to hurt me because my little brother loved my mom's and my sister's hair. My sister's full white. My mom is full white, but my brother and I are both biracial. And he would just love the silky strands of my sister's and my mom's hair. And he would play in there. And I would kind of feel, you know, I would be like, no one wants to play. You can't run your fingers through this. Like, not even like, you know, you would need some heavy duty equipment to do that. But Rio loves playing with my hair. He says, Mommy, your hair floofy. And I said, your hair is, because I call it floofy. And he's like, my hair floofy too. And he kind of like pats his little poof. I just want him to, I'm happy for kids today because I hope anyway that they can grow up loving it and really embracing the uniqueness of it. And no one's going to try to, although people do try to touch Rio's hair. I mean, I don't necessarily blame them because it's so freaking cute. No one tried to touch my hair until I started going natural. And then in the workplace, it would happen, usually in the bathroom. This is so cool. Like, this is great. And like, I feel like as I was transitioning, that was something I had to get used to, was now my hair, people comment on it even more, but I get so much love. Yeah. It's healing to me from being, and I might get a little emotional, but like, it's healing for me from being like in middle school, dreading, like picking alternative routes. If I saw, you know, Black girls walking down the hall, the ones who would bully me. Cause I mean, and Black girls, like I had some of my best friends in school, I was usually, you know, I gravitated toward, I gravitated toward them in band class, like all the sax players, they were like dope. Like all my friends were Black, but I would still get picked on in the hallway. But now women stop me and they'll be like, I love your hair at TJ Maxx or at Target or whatever. And I try to do the same because, you know, I think we're all healing. We're at some, I feel like every Black woman you see, every woman with textured hair you see, Black, brown, whatever, there's the healing little girl inside them who's learned to love their curls. And it's because of products like Dove, of course, that make it possible that we can actually take good care of our hair and embrace it finally.
Yeah. And what I love too is that, like, I use Dove products not just for my hair, but for my body too, because there's options for sensitivity, because I've got super sensitive skin. I just can't put just any product in my hair. Like, I'm very product light when it comes to my, you know, hair, because it's locked down. And so I love the option to be able to use products that, because when you're putting products in your hair, it's not just your hair, it rolls down into your face and your body and your back. So I'm like hyper vigilant about, like, I just can't use just anything. And so, yeah, we're super happy that they've decided to create a space for us to talk about our hair and our journey. So we both say that we both agree that, like, we're in a space with our hair where we're like, girl, 10 out of 10, I would recommend.
Yes. And hey, if y'all have ever, 10 out of 10. I mean, it's not an easy life. This natural hair, this maintenance is not the easiest, but I have my go-to style. This is my version of Sister Locks now. It is like a pony and a big bang. And just all I have to do is trim it like a hedge. I haven't had a proper haircut, as you can probably tell, in a long time. I'm really proud. And I feel like for anyone out there, I mean, I do know it still happens. Like, even, especially if you have a public facing, like you're in front of people, the comments will come through. And like, if there's anyone who wants to share, if you've had experiences like that and how you've handled it, because even though it's written in law now that you can't be discriminated against because of your hair and how you wear it, that doesn't mean it's also, you know, illegal to pay women less than men for the same work. But yet here we have the wage gap.
Here we are.
So it's still happening, and I want to live in that place of reality. So, I feel like if you've ever had that issue, or even when you're interviewing, it's like, how do I wear my hair for an interview? Should I straighten it? You know, should I tame it, you know, for the first interview, for the first impression? That still happens. And I totally get why you have that, why you have to like go back and forth like that. And it's just like this mental burden that like other people just don't understand, you know?
Yeah. We'd love to hear from you guys though. Well, like, when did you fall in love with your hair, if you have? And, you can tweet us, DM us. We'd love some beautiful, heartwarming, or if you have a heartwarming hair story so we can share. Because I think, maybe this is a great episode. If you got a little curly girly, have her sit next to you and listen.
Or a curly boy.
Yeah, curly boily. I forgot that's true. Oh, thanks, y'all. I think that's our brown boost too. Like, right, loving your hair,
loving your hair and letting that and just falling in love with it. That relationship that you have. I'm really happy that I've gotten to a place now in my 30s where, okay, I feel like no more hating it. Just embrace it. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do hate it because the detangling process is special. But yeah. Yay, hair. Yay, and thank you to Dove for sponsoring this episode.
Yes. We will see you guys next week. Well, we'll see you hopefully on Friday for BAQA. If you got questions, we've got answers. Until next week /Friday. Bye, y'all.
Bye, BA fam.
Hey, ladies. Have you heard about the Crown Act? My Hair, My Crown is a new Dove self-esteem project tool for educators, parents, and mentors to boost hair confidence in kids with coils, curls, waves, and protective styles while building allyship in young people. Child, that's me. I got all the kinks and curls, and I love it. The way Black women decide to wear their hair is their choice. Me and Mandy certainly made it our choice. Discrimination resulting from how we all choose to wear our beautiful locks is over. Dove co-founded the Crown Coalition in 2019 to advocate for the passing of the Crown Act. Race-based hair discrimination occurs at work and in schools with little girls too. Dove hopes to end that prejudice by supporting the Crown Act. After all, it's not just about braids and natural hair. Professionalism needs to be defined without biases. Mandy and I want to encourage our listeners to wear their hair their way, loud and proud. You guys know I'm loud and I'm proud. If you are wearing your hair loud and proud, you will love Dove's Crown Collection. It is the first holistic hair and scalp system designed for your coils, curls, and waves. The superior ingredients include plant-based squalene, prebiotics, and vitamins. Purchase the Dove Crown Hair Collection for kids and adults wherever personal care and beauty products are sold. Hey, BA fam, we're on YouTube, woohoo! Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that little bell icon and just tap that for us. Show the BA fam how much you love us. And that way you'll also get notifications when new videos drop. Also, share the channel with a friend. We're always like, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And thank y'all so much again for all the support.